Let me paint you a picture. It's a Sunday afternoon. You've got some time. Maybe you just got paid. Maybe you've been feeling that low-grade guilt about not doing more with your money, and you decide, today's the day. Today I'm actually going to figure out investing. You open a browser tab. You start reading. And within about 15 minutes, you've encountered the phrase diversified portfolio, 3 different opinions on whether now is a good time to buy, something about a recession coming, a Reddit thread where half the people say index funds are the only answer and the other half are arguing about a specific tech stock, and at least one article that made you feel like you need a finance degree just to open a brokerage account. And so you close the tab, not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, but because the world of investing, as it gets presented to most people, is specifically designed to feel complicated. And complicated things are easy to put off. And putting it off has a cost that almost nobody ever quantifies for you clearly. Here's the thing I want you to understand before we go any further. The investing world isn't complicated because it has to be. It's complicated because complexity creates dependency. If you feel like you need an expert, you hire an expert. If you feel like you need a platform, you sign up for a platform. The myths we're going to go through today aren't accidental. They exist and persist because they serve someone's interest, and that someone is not you. My name is Max, and I want to help you learn how to make your money work more for you in your life. And the whole point of this channel is to cut through exactly this kind of manufactured complexity and get to what's actually true, actually useful, and actually accessible to a normal person with a normal income. If that sounds like what you need, subscribe, because understanding beats tips every single time, and tips are all most finance content gives you. So let's name the conventional wisdom that underpins all 5 of these myths, because they all grow from the same root belief. Most people, and I was one of them for longer than I'd like to admit, believe that successful investing is primarily about making the right calls, picking the right stocks, timing the right entry points, finding the right fund manager, getting in before the thing goes up and out before it comes down. And because most of us feel like we don't have the information or the instincts to do that reliably, we conclude that real investing is for people with access we don't have. And the rest of us should just leave it to the professionals. That belief is the myth beneath the myths. And it is measurably, provably, statistically wrong. The research on this is not even close. The vast majority of professional fund managers, people with Bloomberg terminals and research teams and 20 years of experience, underperform a simple index fund over a 10-year period. Not some of the time, consistently. S&P 500 data going back decades shows that over 15 years, roughly 92% of actively managed funds fail to beat their benchmark index. 92%. The experts, with all their advantages, lose to the boring automatic option almost every time, which means the entire framing of investing as a skill game where better information and smarter decisions produce better outcomes is largely a myth. And once you really internalize that, the 5 specific myths we're about to walk through don't just become clear, they become almost funny. Let me set this up with an analogy that I think lands. Imagine you're trying to lose weight, and someone sells you a complicated meal plan. Specific foods, specific timing, specific supplements, weigh everything, track everything, optimize everything. And maybe it works for the people with the time and attention to execute it perfectly. But the research pretty consistently shows that the people who lose the most weight and keep it off aren't the people with the most sophisticated plan. They're the people with the most consistent, simple behavior. They walk every day, they eat a little less. They don't make it complicated, they just don't stop. Investing is identical. The optimal strategy isn't the sophisticated one. It's the consistent one. The one you can actually sustain for 20 years without burning out, without panicking during a downturn, without switching strategies every time a new idea sounds compelling. The flywheel of wealth doesn't spin because you made brilliant decisions. It spins because you kept showing up. Simple, consistent, boring, and over time, absolutely devastating in how much it compounds. But here's where it gets really interesting, Because the reason these myths are so sticky, the reason smart people believe them for years, isn't stupidity. It's psychology. Specifically, it's the way our brains are wired to respond to uncertainty. There's a concept in behavioral economics called the illusion of control. When we're in an uncertain situation, which the stock market absolutely is, our brains desperately seek patterns and behaviors that feel like they reduce the uncertainty. We read the news, we track prices, we rebalance constantly, we look for signals, not because those things necessarily improve outcomes, but because doing something feels better than doing nothing. It feels like control. And the investing industry is very good at giving you things to do that feel productive while generating fees and rarely improving your results. The research on this is from a name worth knowing, Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner. His work on System 1 and System 2 thinking showed that humans are systematically bad at evaluating probabilistic outcomes, especially over long time horizons. We overweight recent events. We overreact to short-term volatility. We mistake activity for progress. And the whole architecture of most investing platforms and financial media, the live tickers, the push notifications, the daily recaps, is engineered to keep you in reactive mode because reactive investors generate more transactions, and more transactions generate more fees. The antidote to this isn't more information, it's less engagement, and that is genuinely one of the most counterintuitive things in all of personal finance. The less you tinker with your investments, on average, the better they perform. Studies on this go back to Fidelity internally analyzing which accounts had the best returns. And the answer was accounts belonging to people who had either forgotten they had them or were dead. No, I'm not joking. The best investors were the ones who weren't investing at all in the active sense. They just let it sit. Now let's walk through the 5 specific myths. And I want you to notice as we go how each one creates a reason to delay, to hesitate, or to overcomplicate what should be simple. The first myth is you need a lot of money to start investing. This one is probably the most universally believed and the most immediately disprovable. Most major brokerage platforms today, Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, allow you to open an account with zero minimum and buy fractional shares of index funds starting at literally $1. $1. The barrier to entry is lower than it has been at any point in human history. And yet the myth persists, mostly because the image of investing we absorbed growing up, the stockbroker, the floor trader, the suited financial advisor with the mahogany desk, implied a minimum level of wealth that most of us haven't reached. Here's what that myth costs in concrete terms. If you started investing $150 a month at 25 instead of waiting until 35, the difference at age 65, at 8% average annual return, is roughly $350,000. Not because you invested more money, because of 10 extra years of compounding. The myth that you're not ready yet has a price tag, and it's enormous. The second myth is you should wait for the right time to invest. Maybe the market feels high right now. Maybe there's a lot of uncertainty. Maybe you're reading headlines about a potential correction and you're thinking, I'll wait until it dips and then I'll get in at a better price. This feels smart. It feels like discipline. It is neither. Here's what the data actually shows. There have been 94 years of S&P 500 data. If you had invested a lump sum at the absolute worst possible time every single year, right before every major crash, every recession, every market panic, you would still have dramatically outperformed someone who stayed in cash, waiting for the perfect moment. The cost of waiting for the right time over a lifetime is larger than the cost of investing at the wrong time every single time. The market's long-term direction is up. The timing of your entry matters far less than the fact that you entered. There's a phrase worth knowing. Time in the market beats timing the market. It's a cliche because it's been proven so many times it became a cliche. Don't wait. The perfect time was yesterday. The second best time is today. The third myth is you need to pick the right stocks to build real wealth. This is the sexiest myth and also the most expensive one in terms of wasted time and emotional energy. Stock picking feels like skill. It feels like being smart about something. And occasionally, in the short term, it produces results that feel like confirmation. But the numbers are brutal. Individual stock picking by non-professional investors underperforms the market average in approximately 75 to 80% of cases, even before accounting for taxes and trading costs. And professional stock pickers, as we established, underperform 92% of the time over 15 years. The reason is elegant and a little humbling. Markets are extraordinarily good at pricing in known information. If you read something about a stock in the news, that information is already reflected in the price. You are not ahead of the market. You are the market, and you cannot beat yourself. The alternative to buying a total market index fund and holding it gives you ownership of every company simultaneously. When one fails, others rise. When a new category of business emerges and dominates, you already own it. You don't have to predict the future. You just have to own the future, and an index fund does that automatically. The fourth myth is one that's particularly pernicious because it sounds like wisdom. Investing is too risky when the market is volatile. I've heard this one from people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. The market is crazy right now. I'll wait until things calm down, which, if you think about it, means waiting until prices have already recovered, meaning you've missed the very period when buying was cheapest. Here's the reframe. Volatility is not risk. Volatility is noise. Real risk, for a long-term investor, is not seeing your account drop by 20% in a bad year. Real risk is not having enough money at 65. Those are different risks. And the behavior that protects you from the first one, keeping money in cash, avoiding the market during turbulence, dramatically increases your exposure to the second one. The investor who pulled everything out in March 2020 when the market dropped 34% and waited on the sidelines until things calmed down missed one of the fastest recoveries in market history. By the time things felt calm enough to get back in, the opportunity was already gone. Volatility is the price of admission for long-term returns. It's not a warning sign. It's just how the machine works. The fifth myth is the one that keeps more people out of the market than any other, and it's the most personal. The myth is this: investing is for people who are good at finance. It's for people who understand it, and you specifically don't understand it well enough yet. This is the myth that convinces you one more article, one more video, one more book will make you ready. And so you consume, and you learn, and you still don't start. Because the goalpost for ready keeps moving, because the myth has no defined endpoint. You will never feel ready enough as long as you believe readiness is a prerequisite. Here's the truth. The knowledge required to be a competent long-term investor fits in about 3 sentences. Open a brokerage account. Set up automatic monthly contributions to a total market index fund or a target date retirement fund. Don't touch it for 20 years except to increase your contribution when your income grows. That's it. Everything else is optional enrichment. You are ready right now. You have been ready for a while. And this is where I want to talk about what actually changes when you start. Because the 5 myths dismantled clear the path. But the person you become by walking the path is the real prize. When you begin investing, even $100 a month, even imperfectly, even without fully understanding everything, something shifts in how you relate to your financial life. You become a participant instead of a bystander. You start to care about your income differently because you understand that every extra dollar has a compounding future. You start to look at spending differently, not as deprivation, but as trade-offs between your present self and your future self. You become someone who thinks in decades, not months. That shift is not a personality trait you either have or don't have. It's a perspective you build by doing the thing. The doing creates the identity, not the other way around. And practically speaking, once you have real money in the market, real money working for you, you start to notice the world differently. You understand why businesses operate the way they do. You read the news differently. You think about your job differently. You realize that your income is just one input and the market is another. And the two together, compounding over time, produce something that no single paycheck ever could. A job opportunity appears that's riskier, but better aligned with what you actually want. You can take it because you have a cushion. A market correction happens, and stocks go on sale. You can buy more instead of panicking. Someone pitches you on a business idea. You can evaluate it on its merits. The world gets wider, not because you got lucky, because you built the foundation that makes luck accessible. Here's the warning I have to give you because I'd be leaving something out if I didn't. The moment investing starts to feel good, the moment you have a few $1,000s in an account and it's going up, is exactly the moment the myths try to come back in through a different door. Not as reasons to delay, but as reasons to overcomplicate. Suddenly you're reading about options trading. Suddenly a specific sector looks really compelling. Suddenly someone in a comment section is explaining why this particular moment is different and you need to reposition. Resist all of it. The strategy that makes you wealthy is not the most sophisticated strategy. It is the most consistent one. If you add complexity, you add decision points. And every decision point is an opportunity to be wrong, to panic, to be influenced by noise. The flywheel spins because you don't stop it. Every time you tinker, you risk stopping it. Set a number, automate it. Choose a simple index fund. Increase the contribution when you can. Look at it quarterly, not daily. That's the whole system. Everything that sounds more exciting than that is statistically more likely to underperform it. Here's where I want to leave you. You came into this video with 5 myths doing quiet damage in the background of your financial life. Telling you to wait. Telling you it's too complicated. Telling you the market is too risky right now. Telling you that you don't have enough to start or enough knowledge or enough of whatever quality you've decided investing requires. None of those things were true. None of them were protecting you. They were just the cost of not having been shown the real picture clearly enough. And now you have been. The person who starts investing $200 a month at 30 will have, at 65, somewhere between $350,000 and $400,000 NEMO, depending on average returns. The person who waits until 40 to start will have roughly half that, even if they invest the exact same amount per month for the same number of decades. That gap, that $150,000 to $200,000 gap, is the real price of the myths. Not dramatic, just permanent. You know what you need to know. You have access to everything you need to start. The only remaining variable is whether you do it today or find a new reason to wait. Close this video. Open a brokerage account. Set up the transfer. The myths are done. The clock is running.